Thank you all for joining us for the Everything You Need to Know About Academic Options After a Bachelor's Degree workshop. Joining us today is Lori Filippo, Assistant Director of Recruitment Admissions over at the Grad College. She's going to discuss some of the benefits of grad school, applying for grad school, paying for grad school, and more. So I'm going to hand it over to Lori to get us started.
Thank you so much, Marlena. Welcome everybody. Thank you for all joining our presentation today. As Marlena mentioned, we're going to go over pretty much everything to really know about your academic options after your bachelor's degree. So how to apply, funding is a huge one, what kind of resources we have. And I want to mention also that we'll go ahead and send this presentation out to you afterward. So if you want to write anything down, please feel free to do so. Otherwise, we will make sure that you have this information and all the links that are provided in it. That way you can go ahead and do some research. So let's go ahead and get started. Graduate professional degrees are advanced courses of study. We have here at UNLV, we have the master's, doctoral, and we have the professional degrees. So you'll see here from the chart, the masters are usually a generalist degree, so it focuses on a particular career or discipline. So you can get like your master's of arts or your master's of science degrees. We also have the doctoral degrees. These are very research-based degrees. So these are really going for, so we have some in education, we have medical. I want to touch on this a little bit more with the funding, but we'll go in more doctoral degrees on how you can actually maybe even go for doctorals right after your bachelor's degree. So some students feel like, oh, I have to get a bachelor's, then a master's, then a PhD, but that's not always the case. So we'll touch on that a little bit more when we get to the funding. We also have professional degrees. These are usually focused on a training for a specific career. So your JD, anybody that's interested in law, if you're interested in the dental school. So that would be more of your professional degrees, the ones that are going right into those fields, or those careers right after. Some other ones, differences between the graduate and professional degrees is really the research-based focus that we talked about a little bit earlier. So having those PhDs really be heavily research-based. Graduate degrees, they do offer more of the career training. And then the professional degrees, they require even more research because you are going right into that field. So why grad school? So what we found out is that with grad school, only about 14.4% actually hold graduate and professional degrees. So by going and continuing on with your graduate degree, it's going to make you more marketable, more sought after your employers. So it's really going to make you stand out. And then, just even for you, maybe it's some goal that you have for yourself. I know even for me with going for a graduate degree, it was a way to push myself to know that, hey, I can do this, I can go further, and really go for that other degree and more education. One thing we like to show students too is that the higher the degree you go for, it actually decreases the unemployment rate. So you'll see going for that doctoral degree, there may be more job opportunities for you out there. And just the opposite, with the higher degree you go for, the higher the earnings are. And then we also like to show kind of a little bit of a job outlook. So more and more professions are actually looking for that professional degree, for that graduate degree. So these are not all of them, but this is just an idea to give you certain careers that are actually requiring or making it requested that you have that master's or that doctoral degree to enter that profession. Okay, so why UNLV? So some of you may already be here at UNLV, maybe you received your undergrad, maybe you're working on your undergrad right now, and are thinking, hey, you know what, I want to keep going, stay at UNLV. So these are why some grad students stay at UNLV and go for that degree. We are a prestigious R1 ranking institution, so we're one of only 131 universities in the US to have this ranking. We do have over 175 different graduate degree and certificate programs, with more than 40 doctoral and professional programs, so a lot of programs. So we'll talk more later on how, with all these programs, how do you actually select which one is the best for you. We are the most diverse university in the country. This is according to the US News and World Report. And some of the other awards here you'll see, speaking of the Carnegie, we are one of only 119 universities in the country to have the community engagement classification. We also have where students can learn from nationally and internationally recognized faculty. So kind of going off that diversity. We have not just our students that are from all over, it's our faculty and our staff as well. You get to partner and intern with local employers. You'll get to work in our labs, research centers, libraries. Again, during the funding section, we'll go a little bit more on graduate assistantships and how they get to work and do some research at the institution. You also get to enroll in afternoon, evening classes. We also have online classes, and we even have online programs. We know our students are very non-traditional, so we want to make sure we have the resources that they need and that you're able to take the program when you need to. You do, again, get to gain hands-on experience to the GAs, so we'll touch on this a little bit more in the funding. And then, of course, developing relationships. So UNLV was founded in 1957. With graduate students, we have over 5,000, and we have over 1,000 international students, and really our students altogether come from over 80 countries. So this, as mentioned, we have over 175 different programs, right? It's a lot of programs that we offer, and they may be adding more or whatever the case may be. We have different certifications that you can add on top of your degree. So you may be wondering, how do I even select what degree to go into? So what we say is actually almost think backwards, right? So start with the outcome. What kind of career do you actually want to go into? Don't really start with, okay, let me look at this program. I'm interested in education. Let me look at the education degrees. So we say instead, start with the career that you want to go for. What makes you happy, inspired? And then from there, for that career, what kind of degree do you need for that career? Think also beyond your bachelor's degree, right? Just because you got your bachelor's in business, maybe you're actually interested in hotel or hospitality. So you don't have to stay in what your field was for the bachelor's degree or your master's or your PhD. Maybe there's something else that you're interested in. A lot of our programs, they don't require that you have a certain degree. They may just say, hey, we want something similar, but a lot of them just say, we just want a bachelor's degree. So definitely look at it. Research various fields and reach out, right? So speaking back about that career that you're interested in, maybe reach out to those careers, maybe asking the professionals that are there, seeing what did they have to do to get into that career, what kind of degree that they need, really getting a feel. And then also that might be another way to get a connection with them, to network, to get an internship. But reaching out to the field, seeing what they had to do to get where they're at today. And of course, you can always meet with our team. So we're the Grad College Recruitment Team. Our contact information is there. Again, we'll make sure that you get these slides so you'll have all of our information. Some more with selecting programs. So make sure that you're researching and applying to the programs. All of our application processes and requirements vary depending on the institution and the program. So just make sure you're doing your research on it. We'll touch more on deadlines. Deadlines is huge. Each of our grad programs have a specific deadline, specific requirements that you need to do. So deadlines, make sure you're staying on top of that, staying on top of what is required for your specific program. Narrow down your program interest early. Yeah, so if you have a ton of programs that you might be interested in, let's really start to narrow it down and see what is the exact field for you. Again, we have a grad coordinator that you are more than welcome to reach out to. They can really give you a better idea on more specifics about the program. So how many people do they accept every semester? What is required? What kind of jobs are the students doing with this career? So you may want to start reaching out even to the departments and seeing what degree would work best for you, and see if we can start narrowing down your options a little bit. And then once we start narrowing it down, look at that application again, figure out the requirements, what is the deadline, But if you need help, always reach out to us and we'll help you out with anything. So application deadlines. So this was the big one. So as mentioned, all of our degrees have specific deadlines that the application needs to be submitted by. So not all of our degrees you can submit fall, spring, and summer. Some only accept in the fall and spring, and some even only accept in the fall. So if you don't submit, let's say by fall 2023, and your program is only a fall start, that means you have to wait until fall 2024 to submit your application and actually start your program. So make sure you're paying attention with these deadlines, especially if you have to do any kind of testing. So GRE, GMAT, if you have to do these tests for your program, make sure you're doing any kind of practice testing, looking at the study materials, doing it earlier in advance so that you have all your materials ready and ready to submit on time when the application and materials need to be in by. Some of the other requirements that applications may need are like your personal statement, letters of recommendation. So again, these things do take time. Okay, so can't stress it enough, check out the deadline. Make sure you know what the deadline is for your program so that you are having all these documents in on time. And if you need help finding it, just reach out to us, we'll help you out. So on top of that, we offer a ton of resources to help you out, right? So we want to make sure that with UNLV, you're not just getting your degree, but you're also having a great experience at UNLV. So we have many free resources available to UNLV students. These are only a few of them. So we have the Grad Rebel ambassadors that are there to help out. We have the Grad Rebel Advantage program. So you all are very aware of that program. One that I really like that I always hear, and I hear about all of these, but one that I know some of our students use is the Grad Rebel Writing Bootcamp. I know this is a great program, especially for grad students. So when you have to start writing your personal statements, maybe your thesis, your dissertation, any kind of publications, this is a great program to use, right? So there's a lot of resources. And not only that, a lot of these programs, they offer the scholarships, as you're aware with the Grad Rebel Advantage program. They offer certifications that you can receive. So definitely check them out. That way you're not just earning your degree, you're earning that experience as well. There is the undergrad student support. So while being an undergrad student, you may actually be able to start your grad degree a little bit sooner. So we have the accelerated programs where students can take graduate level classes as an undergrad student. And that may help them earn their master's or PhD a little bit faster. And there's also the undergrad to grad course approval form. So maybe there's a course you're thinking about. Maybe you want to go ahead and see if you can take it while as an undergrad student. So again, trying to get these courses and credits out of the way, getting that experience. So definitely check it out. See if this may be an option for you. Speaking to your advisor, the graduate coordinators, and see if this is something that you would be able to benefit from. Some of the other resources we have is the UNLV Writing Center. So this is where they can help you with any kind of personal statement. So getting ready for that application. If you have a statement of intent or a personal statement, you may want to contact them. Career services, so if you need help with resumes, career handbook. They also would be a good point of contact when if you're looking for graduate assistantships. So they have something called Handshake, where you can go in there, see what all the open positions are, if you are interested in being a GA. There's the Office of Undergrad Research, so again, CVs, the Research Skills Academy, of course, the library, so any kind of test prep, maybe if you have to do like the GMAT or the GRE, they may have some resources for you available there. On top of all those, we offer many events that you are more than welcome to join as well. So getting ready for your application. So Grad School 101 and paying for grad school, similar to what you're going through right now. Grad School Applications 201, that would be like the next step. So really diving deep onto your statement of intent, recommendation letters, the GMAT and the GRE. So if you have to do any of those kind of requirements, 201 is a good resource just because it really goes more into detail on how to get those requirements. We also have drop-in sessions, so you're more than welcome to just come on in during the times that we have. Any questions you have about your application, about the materials, anything, just come on in and then we'll help you out with it. We also do it virtual as well. Fares and tabling, so you might see us out in the open and at some spots. Also look for departments. So depending on the program you're interested in, they may have their own workshops, their own sessions. I know MBA does a ton of them, social work does them, physical therapy. So check out our calendar. And like I said, any events you would like to attend, please feel free to RSVP. And we'd be happy to go over the material with you. So applying to the graduate college. So once you have looked through all 175 programs and know which program you want to go for, the next step is how to apply, right? So applying for the program, you have to apply in the Grad Rebel Gateway. It is where is going to be like your main hub. So you'll submit your application, all of your materials. You'll be able to check on the status of your application. Everything will be done in the Grad Rebel Gateway. The application fee is $95 for international students and $60 for domestic students. This portal, so what it will tell you is the first step would be submitting your application. Then once it's submitted, it will go under grad review. After it does the grad review, then it will tell you, okay, now your application's under departmental review. That's where it gets the admissions decision from. When the department finishes their department review, the final decision will be posted and you'll be able to view your decision letter in the Grad Rebel Gateway as well. So everything will be through the Grad Rebel Gateway. For the admission requirements, so kind of backdating a little bit, when you submit your application, it's first going to be reviewed by the graduate college. And this is what we are looking at. So we want to see a bachelor's degree from a regionally accredited institution or an approved international equivalent. For your bachelor's degree, we want to see at least a 2.75 overall GPA. If you do not have a 2.75, we'll look at the last 60 credits for a 3.0 GPA. If you do not have a 2.75 or a 3.0, don't feel discouraged. Still apply to still submit your application. We are a holistic review, so that means we look at everything. And when we finish our review, we will still send it over to the department, even if you meet those GPAs or not. Because the department may still decide, hey, we still want this student, we still want to admit them. We just may want to admit them provisionally. And provisionally, all that means is that you're going to take 3 courses, usually your first semester or first year, and you have to get a B or better in those courses. And the courses are already courses that are part of that program. So you're not doing anything additional. You don't have to pay for anything extra. But they just want to see that you're able to just handle the graduate work. And that's why they say at least a B or better in those courses. So for your transcripts, we have to see a transcript from each post-secondary institution you attended. Even if you attended UNLV, still put UNLV on your application. You don't have to provide the transcript to us. We'll pull that for you, but still mention it because we need to know that we need to get that transcript for you. If your transcript is in another language, we do need to have an English translation with it. Depending on the program, we may also need a foreign credential evaluation if your institution is outside the US. If this is the case for you and you have any questions on foreign credential evaluation, please feel free to reach out to me and I'll go ahead and help you out with it. If you are an international student, you may also need to show proof of English proficiency. This would be like your TOEFL, IELTS, PTE, Michigan test. Again, this is only for the international students that may need to show this. If you completed a degree where a post-secondary degree where the primary language of instruction is English, then that will waive you out of that English test. So if you're graduating from UNLV, you get your bachelor's degree with UNLV, then that will waive you out of that English proficiency test. Other aspects of the graduate college. So now this is a little bit more on what the department's looking at. So all the requirements before that we went over, that's what the graduate college will look at. Then we'll send your application to the department. And this is usually what they will want to see. So they may want to see a personal statement. It's usually 1 to 2 pages. Most programs will specify what they want in the statement. So just keep a lookout for that. Again, you're more than welcome to join 201 and we'll go over what to look for. The letters of recommendation, most departments want 2 to 3. Make sure you don't do any family members, friends. It's usually professional, professors, maybe past employers. Again, departments will usually be very specific on who they want these documents from. Transcripts, again, from all the institutions that you've attended. With UNLV, we may already be able to pull them from undergrad. So if you have any questions on it, again, reach out to us. Let's see if there's a way that we don't need you to have to resubmit those documents. Standardized test, check out your program. A lot of programs are starting to kind of do away with the GRE and the GMAT. So it may be possible that your program may not be requiring these extra tests. I will say MBA does require that GMAT or GRE. If you're doing any kind of professional degrees, you are going to have like those LSATs. So definitely look at it and see if there are any testing for you, especially with the deadline. You want to make sure you're getting all of these materials set up and on time. Okay. So paying for grad school. So these are just a few different ways that we help with funding for grad schools. The most common is as a grad student, you are eligible to apply to be a graduate assistant, so working while studying on campus. So we have over 1,000 graduate assistantships. So what this covers is a whole package deal. So it covers your full tuition. So if you are out of state right now, as a GA, you would be considered in-state while you are on that GA. You would get an annual stipend. It just varies, depends on the department. If you're working academic, non-academic, usually if you're a master's or PhD, it will vary a little bit. So it's usually between 11,000 and 20,000 is what the stipend is. There's also health insurance benefits. So once you enroll in 9 credits, which is considered full-time for a grad student, you do automatically get that health insurance on. So this would actually waive that fee. If you have your own health insurance, you can always waive out of ours. But if you don't have one and need to use ours, the GA will reduce that cost. And then there's also summer tuition benefits. So as a GA, you get this whole package deal. So definitely check it out. It's also just a good way to just maybe add a little bit more to your program, adding that involvement, doing more research. So definitely check it out. And you are able to be a GA your first semester. So once you submit your application, you'll see a graduate assistant tab on the Grad Level Gateway, and you can apply for the GAs, and you can apply for as many as you would like. We do also offer 5.7 million in awards. So these are for new and current students. I will say these do open and close very quick every year. So they open October 1st of every year and they do close on December 1st. So if you are interested, make sure you check it out early, just to make sure you have all the requirements that you need. And then, as you may know, we have the low cost of living and tuition. So we do have affordable living. Nice thing is we don't have any state income tax. We have a lot of local discounts, tickets. So make sure you have your Rebel card. As an undergrad, you'll want to make sure that you get the grad Rebel card. Once you're a grad student, that way you can take advantage of all the grad resources available out there, going into the commons, the library commons. So make sure you get that flipped over to the grad card as well.
Lori, can we take a quick question?
Sure.
Do you have to be part of the work-study program to become a graduate assistant?
So work-study program, you do not. I'm not too familiar with the work-study program.
I don't either.
But for graduate assistants, no. I mean, we have students that come straight out of, their bachelor's degree and they just go right into it. So they're not a part, you don't have to be a part of any programs to be a GA. To be a GA, you would just go right and apply. Usually they just want a copy of your resume. Some departments, more if you're going to work any kind of academic GAs, they may want to do an interview process, but others, they may just go ahead and say, hey, we want to have you join us just based off your resume. So make sure you definitely have your resume up to date. But no, you don't have to be part of any programs to join or apply to be a graduate assistant.
And then when you become a graduate assistant, are you able to have a job outside of the university as well?
So, yeah, so unfortunately with that, I believe there is a halt on that because they really want to make sure this is usually for 20 hours for the GA. So the GA is usually kept at 20 hours because we want to make sure you're able to, stay with your school, you're not, doing too much, and then you have the 20 hours as a GA. You may be able to do, I think they can do up to 10 more hours, but it does have to be approved, I believe, by our grad financial team. I would say there is on this website, this unlv.edu grad college /financing, you may want to reach out to our grad financing team just to confirm, but no, typically GAs, they're just the GA and working, and studying on campus. They're not doing an additional job outside of it. But if you have any questions or want to know more about if you can do more than 20 hours, contact our grad financial team and they'll know for sure what you can do.
Thank you, Lori.
Yeah. Okay, so speaking of funding, these are just some other types of funding that are available to you. So we have the FAFSA, the grants, and the loans. So you may already be familiar with the FAFSA. I would recommend filling out FAFSA every year, even if you're not planning on taking loans out. FAFSA, what you may be able to do is be eligible for some grants, right? The grants are huge because they're money that you don't have to pay back. So still fill out the FAFSA, even if you're not planning on taking out any loans. Some of the scholarships and fellowships, they may even require you to have that FAFSA form filled out. So it may not be bad to just go ahead and fill it out. Again, you don't have to do any kind of loans if you don't want to. They are available, you can see from here, they are available for graduate students. They can take out unsubsidized loans. But I always say, let's see if there's other funding sources first before pulling out loans that we can help you out with. The graduate assistantships, is there any scholarships? Does the department have any funding? So there's other ways that we probably want to look at for funding first before really pulling out those loans. But they're there if needed. And just for the grants, the graduate college does provide over $1 million in access grants every year. So even more reason filling out that FAFSA. There may be other funding, so kind of what we talked about with going over to your department, reaching out to your graduate coordinator, seeing if they have any funding opportunities for you. If you're working right now, contact your employer, see if maybe they do any kind of funding, or I have seen employers where they actually will pay maybe even the full tuition if you take a certain class, or maybe you go for a certain degree, maybe you're looking to advance in that career. So they might even help you out to cover some of your expenses. So you might want to reach out to them as well. We'll make sure that you get these funding resources available to you as well through these links. But yeah, if you have any questions on funding, reach out to us. We do have the grad financial team here as well. It is separate from the financial aid office where you do FAFSA. So we can always see what kind of funding might be available. And again, the career services is another resource as well to use. So with that, this is our recruitment and admissions team. So you are more than welcome to reach out to us. You can see on our team, we actually have 4 GAs that work directly with us. So these are non-academic. And so this kind of gives you an idea. They are all different programs and students themselves. So even if you may want to reach out to them, kind of get their experience on what it's like to be a student and a GA, please feel free to reach out. They can also help you to see what kind of program you may be, a good fit for, or just kind of get you on that right path. So please feel free to contact us with any questions. This is our contact information right there. We are located on the 2nd floor of the Gateway building. We even have a commons just for graduate students that you're more than welcome to use once you become a grad student with us. You can always make an appointment with our team. We are open 8 to 5, Monday through Friday. I know that was a lot of information, but I'll go ahead and open it, I guess back to Marlena, and then if we have any questions, please feel free to write them in the chat, or Marlena, however you wanna.
Yeah. If anyone has any questions, if you want to type them in the chat or unmute yourself, or if you want it to remain anonymous, you can directly chat me and I'll ask on your behalf. So we'll just open it up for questions. Do any scholarships provided in undergrad by UNLV roll over into masters?
Oh, that's a good question. So you have a scholarship right now that you earned for undergrad. If you earned it at UNLV, you may want to speak to, if you got it from a certain, if you have like an advisor that you're working with, you may want to reach out to them. I don't know how the funds would work with that scholarship, if it's just cut off on a certain date, or year, or if they say that you basically use it while you're a student. So you may want to check with the advisor on that and see how that works. Maybe even, I'm thinking even maybe the cashier's office.
Cashiering and student
Yeah, for
accounts. That's what I was
disbursement
thinking.
funds. They might know if it can be dispersed then for another degree, or if it just cuts off on that master's degree, sorry, on that bachelor's degree.
Jade, I dropped a link to the cashiering and student accounts in the chat. So if you click on that and you click contact, you can get a hold of them. Any other questions? Can I use the same personal statement for every program I'm applying to?
Well, I mean, there wouldn't be anything that would stop you from doing it. But I mean, if your statement was, so you'll want to look at the program that you're going to apply for. So some programs, they might have very specific requirements on what they want you to write in that personal statement. Some of them may want you to describe why they want you to join, like if you're going for the MBA, they may say, well, why are you interested in the MBA program? And then you would have to go more into detail on that, what kind of career are you looking for, what are you excited about studying with? So there may be different tweaks that you're doing. Some programs may just say, just write a personal statement or a statement of intent, just saying why you want to go into grad school. Something like that. If there was other programs that had that same criteria, you could probably use it again. But it really depends on the department. You're going to want to see if they have really specific requirements on what they want for that personal statement, what they want you to answer. If there's any questions they might want you to respond with.
Does the Millennium Scholarship roll over into graduate school if the full funds were not used during undergrad?
I'm tempted to say no with Millennium. That may be another question for who knows Millennium. I don't know if that is your financial aid that handles the Millennium Scholarship.
I think it is, yeah.
Yeah, I would say contact the financial aid. I'm tempted to say it doesn't. I'm trying to think on my past situation when I got it. I don't believe so, but that may be a question just to follow up with the financial aid department.
I will say when I was an undergrad, I had the Millennium Scholarship and it didn't for me, so.
Yeah, I don't think so. Good
Are
question
there,
though.
yeah, are there any GA opportunities for professional grad school?
Yes. So their applications, we actually do not review. So if you're looking for dental school, med school, you'll want to actually reach out to them directly, ask them more specifically what, especially dental school. I will say dental school and law school, reach out to them directly and see what kind of funding they have, unless you're doing a dual program in the law or dental programs. Doing the dual, because it's an application that is tied with the graduate college, we would still be able to let you apply for a GA. But if you're just applying straight for the dental school or the law school, I would say contact those different schools directly because they have their own application process. We actually don't do anything with the direct professional programs for law or dental. So anything direct, reach out to them. If it's dual, you can contact us. If you have any questions though, still contact us. We'll help you out to figure it out. But it may be that you need to reach out to them directly. And we have contacts with them as well, so we can get you the right contact.
It looks like David just said, I just checked Millennium's website and they only disperse for undergraduate coursework.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of thinking. It's a bummer. It's, I mean, it would definitely be a great to just roll over those funds. But yeah, I was thinking it's probably just bachelors.
Do graduate students get FAFSA money similar to undergrad, or is it just for grants?
So they do. Let me see if I can actually go back. Yeah. So you can get the unsubsidized loans. I don't know how they figure out the funding. That is also going to be another question for financially directly. I would say for any kind of loans, FAFSA questions directly, contact them directly. I know it is available, but honestly, with all of the funds and sources that we do give available to the grad students, I know a lot of them just have been using that, pulling out the loans if needed. But they can really or our financial aid department can really go into more detail on what you would be eligible for. I guess our main thing is always, don't take out more than you need, take out just what is needed. So you're not having this big loan.
Leo, I'm not sure I'm understanding your question, but maybe Lori will. Since the UNLV grad school has a bachelor's requirement, does that mean we can't apply to it in our senior year?
So, okay. So yes. Well, I might have answered that wrong. But so if you are currently in your undergrad, I'm gonna guess maybe this is like your last year of undergrad. Maybe you're gonna graduate in May potentially. Um, you have to have your bachelor's degree completed before you start your grad program. So let's say you're in your last year of your undergrad right now, and you're looking to start in the fall of 2023 for your grad program. So you're going to finish everything in the summer with your undergrad. You can start applying right now. The application is actually open for fall 2023, even while your degree is still in progress. What would happen is we would review your application based on what you have. And then if you're accepted into your program, you would just be admitted conditionally, with the condition being that you have to basically, we have to confirm for you that you have completed your bachelor's degree before September. So September 15th for fall is when everything is required. So as long as you finish your bachelor's degree before you start your program and can prove that by September 15th, then you're fine. You can still apply to the program. So yes, if you haven't completed your degree yet, still apply. It just has to show it afterward. And with graduating from UNLV, you don't have to give us anything updated. We'll actually check it around like mid-May, June, just to make sure we can pull that confirmation transcript that shows, okay, yep, he's good or she's good. They did complete their degree.
The GA options program opens every October 1st, so if so, for the next fall, they'd open this October.
So the GA applications, they actually are open all year long. It's the scholarships and fellowships. Those are the ones that open on October 1st and close on December 1st. The GAs, if you're looking for a fall start, the main thing is that they say they want you to have everything in by March 1st. I will say though, I've seen students get GAs really the week before classes start. So students are constantly getting GAs. They're applying for them all at different times. So GAs you can keep applying for. It's like I said, it's the scholarships and the fellowships is what opens very early every year, October 1st, and closes on December 1st.
So going back to your previous question really quick. So for fall 2024, we would be applying during fall 2023.
Is this the senior, potential senior?
I think it's potentially, no.
So if you're graduating, would you be graduating in fall 2023? Or like done with your program in fall? Is that what they said?
Alexandra, do you mind clarifying just a bit? I think they mean they want to start their grad program fall 2024.
Okay.
Would they apply during fall 23 if they're only accepted once a year?
So the application, yeah, well, and that's the thing to look at. So what kind of program it is, what is the deadlines for the program? So if they only accept admissions once a year, definitely check out the deadline for that program. It may be that you have to apply during fall 2000, or, during 2023 for the fall of 2024. I will say all the fall applications do open September 1st of every year. So if you're looking, so right now, fall 2023 is open. Fall 2024 will not open until September 1st of 2023. So that's when, if you're looking to apply for fall 2024, you'll be able to start your application on September 1st of 2023. I had to think about that for the years.
And if they have specific questions about when they should be applying or looking and applying for grad school, they can meet with your team, right, Lori? Schedule an appointment, look to see the
Yeah.
deadlines and stuff.
So yeah, deadlines is can be a little tricky, figuring out exactly when you need to start your application, get everything in by. We do have the deadline page, but if as being current students, you might be wondering, well, wait, I'm still a student, or my program only offers once a year. So definitely reach out to us. We'll let you know when is the best time to start your application and when you need to get everything in by.
If we are looking to apply in spring, when can you start the application?
So let's see, so the spring opens, let's see, so September 1st is the fall. And then the spring is, I believe it's the February 1st. It's always like the month after that they open. So I believe then the February 1st is when then the spring would open up. So spring 2023, I know is already open. So yeah, spring 2024 would not open until February 1st, 2023.
For an international student, if the program is only offered in fall and the undergrad study would require a fall semester to finish, is there any solution to not discontinuing my studies?
I would probably chat with your international advisor at OISS. I know, as you may be aware, that there is the OPT option. That may be something to consider, looking at OPT. If it's still not long enough with OPT, I don't know if they could do any kind of extension based on your program, but I would probably definitely recommend reaching out to whoever your international advisor is, so the one that wrote or signed your I-20 document. Reach out to them directly, and then they can make sure that you're staying in status with your visa until you can actually start your grad program.
Did you say spring 2023 is already open?
It is, yes. Yeah, spring 2023 and fall 2023 is open. Unless you're looking for a nursing program, the nursing programs will open on October 1st.
Thank you, Lori.
Yeah.
Any last questions before we wrap up today's workshop?
And keep in mind, we'll get this presentation sent out to you. So you'll have all the links, all the information, contacts.
Well, not seeing any other questions. Before we end today's session, just want to thank our presenter, Lori. Thank you so much for sharing your time and expertise with us today. Before you all log off, if you could just take a few seconds to fill out this workshop feedback survey. I just dropped it in the chat. It helps us improve our workshops and give you all the information that you guys might need. So thank you all so much for being here, and I hope you have a great rest of your day and happy Friday. Thank you, Lori.
Thank you.